speaking of big picture here, we'll transition to some marketing and talk about Jaguar. And did you hear any news last week about Jaguar?
Oh yeah.
So I intentionally was like discarding the news last week because I saw it when it came out and I was like, oh, I'm not even going to jump into that. But I just looked at it and I have the commercial here. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the commercial that they. Did you watch the commercial?
Briefly.
Okay.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but we should watch it.
Let's tune up this commercial here because let's get into why the people are like, what are they doing? So first thing you notice here is that is a radically different logo than what they previously had.
The iconic brand change.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're moving just out the gate, front line about from who they were to who they are going to be now. So let's see what Jaguar's got to say. So this has not landed well.
No.
This has not landed well at all for this iconic manufacturer of vehicles. And some context on this blindsided a lot of consumers, right? A lot of people who really actually do like do love the Jaguar brand and the class and really just the styles of vehicles. Anyways, these European manufacturers that they stand for something. So people are kind of caught off guard. And I think Newsweek did a great article. I'm going to say a great article, but they just gave some great color on what's going on behind the scenes. And so I'm just going to peruse through this real quickly. They gave a decent analysis and breakdown that I'm going to share with you guys. So this comes by way of Newsweek, as I mentioned. They say Jaguar rebrand called disastrous as focus on diversity. The diversity comes under fire. I won't go through there, but here's some context on really the pressure and everything. So Lulu Chang Miservi, co-founder of the roster PR group, called the rebrand disastrous, right? It's the company should highlight innovation and engineering and pick a clear lane for branding. So you have experts saying, what happened to the innovation and engineering, and you've muddied up your entire brand at the moment. It's possible a marketing exec read too many think pieces about how millennials shop based on values and forgot that people want cars that are built really well. And so here's some context on it. The rebrand comes has what is that writing there? I'm sorry. It's like confusing me. The rebrand comes as the manufacturer suffered from dwindling sales in recent years. Last year, fewer than 67,000 Jaguar cars were sold worldwide. That is not a big number, guys. Roughly half the number sold during the fiscal year that included the start of the coronavirus pandemic. Currently, there are only 122 Jaguar dealerships in the United States, a significant decline from a peak of around 200, as reported by Car and Driver. And so really what's at the heart of this is this need to rescue a failing car manufacturer. But there's a channel out there, this guy named Antonio. He had a great video about Jaguar, and I'm going to try to play it here. I think I might be having some audio issues, but he goes into the entire history of the company and several other different elements. This was 3 months ago that this video came out. He says the billion-dollar company that's miserably failing. And so if I can cue this up for us and it actually works. Let's see.
Stuff together and are doing very well.
Are you able to hear that? Okay, cool.
Now, and yet Jaguar just seems to be stuck for some reason. While the strategy on paper looks great, all electric also means that gas and diesel car buyers will have to be ignored. With so much money being poured into R&D and marketing to get consumers to buy into their products and to this grand idea of electronic vehicles, Jaguar has seemed to detach themselves from what buyers actually want from the brand: class, elegance, and power, not an electric substitute. But this issue, guys, is just scratching the surface. There's actually a bigger problem, in my opinion, that they are facing, and that is their lineup. Other car companies like Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Audi rely on a large portfolio of vehicles in order to generate revenue and attract customers. Makes sense, right? Jaguar, on the other hand, only offers 6 vehicles in their lineup. And this begs the question, why? Well, this deliberate choice is based on a belief that offering too many vehicles can detract from the revenue generation of their staple products, such as the F-Pace. So by focusing on a smaller and simpler lineup, they're able to serve a larger number of customers with a higher success rate. At least that's the theory. But what is actually happening? Well, other than a tiny SUV lineup, Jaguar has one sedan, the XF, and a sports car, the F-Type, on sale. And these cars aren't really bringing in any huge numbers either. For example, in 2021, more units of the Jeep Wrangler were sold in the UK than the Jaguar XF. For many, the smaller lineup strategy fails to give consumers adequate choices. For example, if you wanted to buy an SUV, you're only choosing between the F-Pace and the smaller compact luxury version, the E-Pace. Likewise, if I wanted to buy a sedan, the only option is the XF, while the other sports car model is their F-Type. With only a few models to choose from, it can be hard to find what you exactly want. And competitors like Audi, for example, have capitalized on the SUV and crossover craze, and their Q5 model is consistently rated favorable amongst buyers. It just seems like Jaguar is missing a huge opportunity by not trying to tap into that market and offer more options to their customers.
So why would you not offer more options to your customers? Obviously, they have their strategic positioning, but why this could be a serious blunder is because what things have continued to change for the consumer? Well, specifically in the UK and even here in the US, significant locations of the company, we just looked at that number, a national debt number, right? That's $100,000 that the average citizen is actually holding over their heads. And a car manufacturer like Jaguar is not necessarily going to continue to appeal to these multiple generations that don't believe they can afford or actually tangibly can afford a certain way of living. And so having 6 vehicles that are particularly and historically for a certain set of people, Jaguar owners tend to be like 46 to 55 years old. So you have 6 vehicles reaching one demographic that is continuing to shrink in terms of your TAM, your total addressable market, that's out there. And so it's not really a recipe for a disaster. I mean, it is a recipe for a disaster. And so I thought that was a great breakdown of those
You want my take just as an observer?
Yeah, what you got?
This is the typical tale of more, better, new.
Mm-hmm.
They opted for new, but I haven't seen a lot of advertising from Jaguar just in general. They're kind of a forgotten brand. Once Land Rover consumed them and Land Rovers and Jaguar dealerships became one, they stopped doing their advertising. Right. But let's face it, people that go to a Land Rover dealership are going there for Land Rover. They're not going there for Jaguar. Right. So one, forgotten brand, better, right? They could have just really tapped into, because it was always grace, elegance, and performance was like the core of the Jaguar brand. They didn't really push that. Some cool, sleek design, but they're saying that the only way for performance is by way of an electrical vehicle.
All right.
Well, we already know the adoption metrics on electric, right? We know that it's taken a really long time to reach 10% market saturation on that. So if you're just looking at from pure adoption of newer technology, I mean, Tesla probably leads the market. And if you're a Tesla fan, you're probably not going to go buy an electrical vehicle like Jaguar. So that's not why you go to Jaguar.
Right.
So they just opted for a full-on like, hey, the problem isn't the fact that we need to do more or better. It's that we're just totally missing the mark and we got to go tap a new audience. And that's where the failure comes in, that
Very
it couldn't
much
be further from the truth.
Yeah, and it's like a multi-pointed, because like even what I was saying, like that's a strategic error. That's a strategic error from a brand standpoint. Even their positioning in media. This is actually a bigger conversation. When's the last? Have you ever seen a car commercial and said, "I got to go buy that car"?
Nope.
Never. And I'm willing to bet 89% of people across the world feel that way. And these companies spend so much money, and well, not Jaguar in this case, but they spend so much money pushing out all of this media in these cars and these commercials and these major, and it's not landing. And at the same time, you never seen a Tesla ad. I've never seen a Tesla ad. Right. But Tesla's on the ground talking to the people. Tesla CEO is making content. Like it's just this disconnect from where the consumer actually has their attention and buying affection. A lot of these manufacturers miss this. They just miss it. So many companies miss this.
I would say a lot of people buy Tesla because of Elon.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. But so absent of Elon, like why do people buy Audi or BMW or Porsche or Rolls Royce? Right. So Jaguar doesn't have either of that. They don't have a person that aligns with the brand that'd be like, oh, I want to buy that. And they definitely don't have, or at least they've lost that appeal to the market.
Yeah.
Grace, elegance, and performance, which is like the core of their brand, right?
Yeah. So let me show you this last thing, and then we're going to close out with Volvo at the same time last week put out an ad that people are losing their minds over in a good way. I don't know if you saw that, but I
definitely did not see that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's check out. We'll check out this second to last piece here. This is the head of brand strategy at Jaguar, and this honestly does sum it up. And it sums it up really how the perspective has changed in what was a legacy luxury car manufacturer. And it's foolish.
And at Jaguar, we're passionate about our people, and we're committed to fostering a diverse, inclusive, and unified culture that is representative not only of the people who use our products, but in a society in which we all live, a culture where our employees can bring their authentic selves to work. And we're on a transformative journey of our own, driven by a belief in diversity, inclusion, creativity, policy, and most importantly, action. We've established over 15 DEI groups such as Pride, who are here tonight in the back. Thank you guys for coming. Women in Engineering and Neurodiversity Matters. We've launched major policy revisions such as transitioning at work to drive equity and support for our communities, embracing individuality as our superpower. And at Jaguar, we're passionate about our people.
So that's the fatal mistake of latching onto a trend and missing the trend.
Yeah, because people have already exactly the next wave is common sense. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Men are men and women are women, and you can skip me with the nonsense.
Yeah, exactly right.
So that being said, Volvo, on the other hand, leaned into this. I mean, I think they leaned into it. Many people feel that way, that they leaned into what's actually happened. This is a long ad, so we won't go through the whole. It's like 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes long, but we'll get into it a bit here.
Hey. Okay. Yeah. Well.
Hey, love.
Hey, Mom.
How are you guys? How you doing?
Yeah, we're good.
Something wrong?
No, but we've actually got something to tell you. Kate's pregnant.
Oh, I'm joking.
You're gonna be a grandma.
Oh my God. Have a sleep.
I'm scared, Mom.
Why are you scared?
About it all, the nights, the responsibility. We're gonna need a bigger place.
Help with all that.
I know. Bless you. You're so sweet. I've got this feeling that we're gonna have a daughter. Just as stubborn as her mum.
Well, hopefully not. The family's knows.
Now that's a legacy she might have to live with. She might be the reason we tied a knot.
What if I don't do good in class?
I just want to say and do the right things, you know? I want to see the world with her. I'll also be happy staying home, doing nothing, letting her be a kid.
Are you awake?
Number 32.
Thank you.
I want to see her fall in love. But I also know what that means. And I know she's gonna bend the rules just like I did. And one day, I'll have to let her go. I'm excited to hear what she learns about the world, herself. What she adores, what she hates. I hope she likes the name you give her.
Have you thought of any?
It all depends. We like Leia.
Boom.
First off, that commercial got me emotional.
Dude, I'm telling you.
It hit me right in the feels. But man,
Yeah,
I was just thinking about all the thoughts going through my head, right? Like family, safety, and the way that they ended it with the Volvo actually being hyper responsive and protecting her from not getting hit by the car was a phenomenal conclusion to that whole entire story that they just told.
Very much so. Shout out to the guy who shared it. I forget his name. Shout out to Volvo, but Guilherme Yuan. But he said, so look at what he said. Look at what they did though. 3 minutes, 46-second ad shot by Hoyt van Hoytema, the cinematographer of Interstellar and Oppenheimer.
Man.
So it goes against every single rule you can think about: a social lead, length, format, overproduce. But here's the impact of understanding the cultural moment, but also staying true to who you are in the cultural moment. Every comment under the ad said it immediately put Volvo in their consideration set. It's effing fantastic. And that's what you're looking for as a car manufacturer that's trying to reach and move business across multiple generations, is to remain in the purview of the radar of the consumer as they go through life. And they nailed it, man. And Jaguar could learn a lesson, and they still have time to they came out and said like, hey, we're going to bear with us. We got more stuff coming, but they have an opportunity to do it right. And you can understand why they're trying to make the moves they're trying to make. But if you're going to go for new and breaking molds and all of this, you should probably at least show a car in your ad.